and I'm doing the 1NC. As the affirmative already told you in their story, serious possession of chemical weapons is a direct threat to the United States. It's priority number one for the United States, and it should be priority number one for the world. The vernacular they use is that it's an international responsibility. It's an international problem. It's an international threat. The nations around them are going to be adversely affected by this, but then they go on to say that the U.S. should go and attack. The U.S. should go in and solve the problem. If it's an international problem, then why is it the United States' responsibility to clean up the mess, to get rid of the problem in Syria? Like my partner said in her cross-examination, we're not the world's policemen. We can't let the problem continue, but what will the strikes accomplish? We don't know where the weapons are. We don't know where the exact position of Assad's weapons-grade facilities are really located at. So it's not our job to go in there and stop the strikes from happening if it's an international responsibility, like they said. They then continue to say that the strikes that the Syrian government put against their own people could then be translated into a direct threat against the United States. We don't know how the Syrian government under Assad will directly attack the United States with these chemical weapons. There's no evidence that suggests they have ICBM capabilities to launch these nuclear weapons against the US mainland. And if our strikes are going to be limited, if they're not going to have troops in the ground, if we're going to launch missiles and not actually have troops there, then we're not going to have any US casualties of war because there's not going to be people there, not any Americans there to actually die. Other nations are armed to respond to any threat, just like we are. We have weapons capabilities that will sufficiently defend our nation against any attacks, as do most free Western nations. The attacks that the Syrian government deployed against its own people, they are a tragedy. They are a travesty. We certainly should take that into account, but it's not the type of attack where the US people need to get involved because it's an international responsibility. The affirmative also mentioned that standing idly is unacceptable and that US security interests are at stake in the strike. They then never gave any evidence that would suggest that the US interests are really at fault here, or in danger here, rather. Just striking Syria will certainly remove the weapons, which is an international responsibility, but is it the responsibility of the United States to go in there and protect ourselves? There's no clear threat there. That was never brought up. They're saying that limited strikes mean limited. These pinpointed strikes will not bring any burden across to the US because we won't have troops on the ground. We don't know where the weapons are, like she said in the cross-examination. We don't know where we're striking. We could be striking at weapons facilities, we could be striking at civilian populations. We don't know who's at fault, we don't know exactly who we're going to be killing in these attacks. I now stand open for cross-examination.
So in your sub-point 1, priority number 1, you agree. You don't think that moving on. Do we have troops in other nations that could be affected by this?
Yes, we do.
So Assad potentially does have the capability to harm U.S., to kill U.S. citizens.
Yes, but he doesn't have the motive to attack another country like that where we're stationed.
So you don't think that the use of chemical weapons amongst his own people, you don't think he'll stop using chemical weapons against his own people?
There's no clear evidence to just that now.
In your subpoint, you addressed my, again, addressing the capability. Do you think we should be proactive or reactive?
I certainly think that being proactive to stop the attacks, it's the case of preemptive strike. You know, it's a calculated risk. If we go in to remove the weapons, we don't know what will happen as a result to our own forces.
So proactive or reactive?
I would say we should be reactive, to say the least.
Wait till our troops have been killed.
No, wait until we can make an international consensus to see what the next step should be.
Although no one has, the UN is right now at a standstill about...
The UN has sent weapons inspectors into Syria, and we've identified the issue, and we're moving forward with that.
Okay.
We're not at a standstill.
Okay. we can't pinpoint the strike, but don't we have capabilities to, once we do find out, to hit exact locations?
Again, the intelligence isn't there. We have satellite capabilities to see where possible weapons facilities could be. They could be civilian targets. We don't know. We just don't know unless you have troops on the ground with visual evidence to see.
Time.